Okay, the connection is not really good. Okay, okay, Ariel. Yeah. So this is actually the day number 5, and the 5th day. Yeah, we started in Sunday, so this is Thursday. So it's about it's okay, Mas Tommy. It's the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's the day 5th. So Mas Dandy, we will watch a movie, right?
Yeah, we have at least 2 trailers that we can show to you.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because we've been discussing heavy topic so far. So I myself would like to watch the movie. Even in the movie it's hard to, but it's better than hearing people just talk, right?
Yeah, we also have a 2 hours movie. If you prefer to run the movie then the discussion, then please welcome. I would like to do it.
No, of course we would like to have a discussion as well. Welcome everyone. Yeah. I see Marielle here as well, and Leon. I see. How do I call it? Made or Gek Made?
Made.
Made.
Made, yeah.
Where do you live, Gek Made?
I am in Surabaya, Pak. I am currently working in Nangga University.
Okay. Yeah, Ariel says here, writes here. He wants to watch Endgame, but there's no English subtitle. Really, Mas Dandi, is there any English subtitle for the Endgame movie?
I think now we already have the CC feature in YouTube, but yeah, sorry, I doesn't check it yet, but it should be there
Should
is
be there, yeah.
subtitle, yeah, in CC. Maybe you can activate the CC feature in YouTube.
Okay. Hello, Sarah. I noticed Sarah is also entering the room as well. And I see Mbak Nina Susilo here. Is anyone clear about the assignment? That's the one who said hi to us yesterday, right? During the Q and
yeah.
Q&A.
I did open discussion about the paper, and I think the participant enthusiastic about it. So yeah, so far there is no problem, I think.
Yeah, because I wrote there that you only have to write around 300. Yeah, perhaps if I said you need to write around 3 books, then perhaps they will. Because it's only 300 words for the draft, so it's good. That's nice. We will start at 3 on dot, yeah, Pak Gulam.
You can keep going since you are the moderator for today.
Okay, I'm already a co-host here, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I will start at 3. It's not yet 3 now. So it will be around 2 weeks session, Mas Dandi. Welcome, Mbak Anita Wahid.
Halo, selamat sore.
Selamat sore, Mbak Anita.
Hai Mas Dandi, Mas Wija, Mas Gulam, teman-teman semua.
Bergabung.
Yeah, well,
when
good to see you again.
Good to see you again. When I did an analysis, social network analysis in the internet, in the, for instance, omnibus law case or KPK case, the account who counter the government, 2 of them were Dandi Laksono and Anita Wahid. with a lot of followers, yeah, but they were nothing compared to the cyber troops. Cyber troop has more posts and they have more endurance. Akun like di Gembok FK.
Maybe that's a sign that we should create our own cyber troops.
That's right. Maybe, perhaps. Okay, I think we will start because it's already 3 p.m. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are healthy now, wherever you are, be it in Indonesia or in Philippines or in Myanmar or Thailand or Europe or in Italy. Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that Mas Dandi was not good, but now he's getting better. Yeah, let's pray that he's getting better by time. So I think I would like to introduce a little bit about Dandi Dwi Laksono, our guest speaker today. However, yesterday our speaker Herlambang Wirataraman already talked about him, right? Because I think he's quite famous, yeah. So Mas Dandi, yesterday Herlambang talked about digital law, yeah, and he provided your case that you were when you were posting about Papua, and I think you got how do we call it? You got sued or something, yeah? And then you were brought to the. Did you go to the court already? I think not yet, yeah.
No, they just take me from my home.
Oh, okay. So but they took you from your home, yeah. Okay, it's gonna be interesting. But you could tell a little bit about that. But I would like to share my screen here to introduce about Dandi Dwi Laksono. I think our team here make the slide here. Sorry, but it only tells very little, yeah, about him. I could tell more, but yes, he's the founder of Watchdog. This is I don't know, it's a production house, yeah, who produce lots of documentaries, I think, and a lot of movies, I think, that is so famous and so influential, I think, yeah, with a lot of audience, yeah, a lot of viewers in YouTube. Psyche Killers and Pulau Plastik, Samin versus Man, yang ketujuh, and the last one is The End Game, I think, are some of them. I think Watchdog is the only one in Indonesia who are so productive, yeah, to produce so many movies that I think many of them are very influential. And one of them, Samin versus Man, I did research about it. I interviewed Mas Dandi. I think, when was it? 2019, yeah, Mas Dandi?
Samin Man was released on 2015.
Yeah, but when I interviewed you,
before pandemic.
Before pandemic, 2019, I think, and Samin versus Man was so influential. It was not only gain lots of audience in YouTube itself, but also the people watch directly in so many places. As a way to to trigger discussion and to discuss about civil society activism. And the movie about this man, the factory has, I think, connection to the company in Germany, and it also moved the civil society in Germany to protest the factory in Germany as well. So I think it has an international impact. Okay, I will not talk too much about our already famous guests. So Mas Dandi, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Mas Wija. Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. And I think I will not giving you lecture. I just want to share some experiences. Maybe I'm also glad if you have any your own experience that we could learn together here now. So well, I will start with little presentation and also story about what Watchdog already did, doing production of documentary film production, and connecting with audience. I'm afraid with impact term, maybe just influence, maybe because impact, need more sophisticated indicators to, and I'm not scientist and incapable to do that. So, well, okay, let's start with the idea. Sorry. Okay. In responding Mr. Wija request about the topic this afternoon, so I just titled "Film and Ecological Crisis." So I think all of you is very familiar with many documentaries, many video series on any platform that reflect the Homo sapiens concern about our recent planet situation and our environmental issue. So it has been a long time. Many actors, many organizations doing documentary as well as in your home country maybe, but in international level we have a very mainstream and constant international production on environmental issue. We have National Geographic, the documentary start in 1961, but National Geographic Society itself was already established since 1888, I think. So it's very old academic and concerned group society on natural story, on environment. We have very popular Animal Planet here in we have illegal paid channel. Usually you paid for some of this channel in Indonesia about maybe $20 or $30 per month. But if you have illegal channel, you just pay for $2 or $3 a month, and you got Animal Channel, Animal Planet, National Geographic, and Discovery. Of course, it's illegal, but it's helped many people in remote area or in kampung. Even my mom, for example, she usually saw the soap opera, watching soap opera. But after we connect with illegal channel of Animal Planet, she suddenly changed to the documentary. So it's good news about being illegal. So Discovery Channel itself told many things about science and most of them also the environment issue. And the oldest one, I think, in terms of motion production is BBC Natural History Unit. Yeah, now recent become a BBC Earth. Before, maybe you know about the BBC Knowledge, but this is the oldest in terms of audiovisual production about environment. But if you have any source that may be could you add for our session, so please feel free, and we are more than happy to accumulate as new knowledge for us. So of course you know him. I think it's one of most iconic filmmaker on environment, David Attenborough. He started in, I think, he's part of history of BBC Natural History Unit when he set up in Bristol in 1950s. So David start in about 1950s at that time, and he still made documentary film about environment on Netflix on his age, about 95, I think. He's now 95 years old and still go to the field for shooting and make a documentary film. So it's more than 9 decades how we, as a TV audience or maybe movie fans, we have a kind of a story about the environment through documentary, at least through mainstream international production. The mainstreaming of environment issue, I think everyone knows that every Oscar, every years we have a documentary category for Oscar winner, and the environment topic is one of the most favorite winner. And the topic about environment, at least we have every 10 years we have a winner relating the environment topic. We have My Octopus Teacher in 2021, The Cove, The Last Decade, and then of course Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. It's very famous film at that time. So, well,
what about the movie that is played by Leonardo DiCaprio about the Indian? Is that can it be categorized as an environmental movie?
No, you mean The Revenant? The Revenant is,
yeah, The Revenant,
the feature film. I think Leonardo makes his own documentary on Before the Flood. I will show you about that.
Ah, very nice. Thank you.
So, yeah.
So I think I completely confused you there.
when we talk about the mainstreaming, environmental issue, ecological crisis, ecocida, if you want to say that, it's basically have enough coverage, enough high level of amplification with very high profile ambassador. Before the Flood by Leonardo DiCaprio, it's one of them. And of course, you have in America, you have TV series Years of Living Dangerously with many stars involved in the production, in the behind the scene, in the business for running this documentary. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the producer. Harrison Ford from Indiana Jones. I think many of these participants is too young to know Indiana Jones, but I think Mr. Wija still watching Indiana Jones, right?
Yes, of course. I'm from that era.
So the Harrison Ford visited Indonesia many times for production of Years of Living Dangerously, and he met many prominent officials. At that time, we have SBY, President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono. Matt Damon become one of the series in Years of Living Dangerously. So basically, they talk about the planet, our planet on crisis ecologically. So even documentary about environment itself creating big debate in international level. We have Michael Moore on Planet of the Humans. We have Seaspiracy now in Netflix. I think most of you have already watched it. It's a big controversy on these two films and creating a big public discourse. So, well, but what's the issue there? If the environment is so prominent issue, it's not marginalized issue like maybe like LGBT, for example. It's a mainstream issue. It's a donor-friendly topic. Environment is proposal-driven for filmmaker if you want to make some story about the environment. So what's the issue? You know, we have many production, even in your country, even in Indonesia. our mainstream TV, our mainstream national TV, they already have many film production about environment, about ecological crisis, and so on. So what is the issue? Why small player like us, like Watchdog, still want to do this? Or I don't know how you express in English menggarami lautan, Dr. Wija.
There's no English expression for that, I think.
put some salt on the ocean. So
yeah, we want to make the ocean salty. Yeah, it's already salty.
It doesn't mean anything. So it's no impact at all. No influence on that. So why? That's our big question at that time. So then we come with two keywords that I think for small organization like Watchdog, like me, for small filmmaker in mediocre country like Indonesia who has no access on Hollywood, on a big budget of film production, who has no access for make a phone call to Matt Damon to become part of our film. So we believe at that time that we still have a role with what we call it proximity and accessibility. Of course, many times you saw the melting of glacier in Arctic, but it feels so far from your daily life, right? It's far from your homeland. It's not, you even cannot saw the snow in your backyard, right? So we saw a lot of burning forests in Amazon, but still we don't even go to the jungle. We just have wood in our neighborhood, not forest, not to mention jungle. So environment issue in a big scale, like melting glacier in Arctic, or big fire in outback of Australia, or maybe in Amazon. It's a big story. It's a big narration of environmental story. So I think for small player like us, we could manage some small role as well with small scale of production and story about the local environment. So that's where we start. We're talking about the proximity. We're talking about the quality of water that you drink, the decreasing of your river quality, that maybe your father and or maybe your grandpa still have access to the river at that time. They still safe to drink that water directly without cooking. But your generation now, you lost everything. You can't even play to swim at the river, because we have a story that one of the river in Kalimantan, for example, decreasing the quality of the river, the clarity, the visibility of the river, create a good environment for crocodile, because of course if the visibility of the river is good, the crocodile cannot hunt, right? So when the river getting worse in terms of visibility, then the crocodile population grows, and at the same time there is no way the children in the village could swim in the river like their father or their grandfather did. So that's one of the sample of what when we talk about proximity. And second thing is about accessibility. Yes, we have Oscar winner film like The Cove. Yes, we have An Inconvenient Truth. We have Before the Flood from Leonardo DiCaprio. But how many people in the world could access that film? Someone who could pay, who affordable to pay Netflix, BBC Knowledge, BBC Earth, subscriber of National Geographic channel, maybe they have access on it. But the rest of the world, they have to happy with the free to air television airing soap opera, for example. So these two concepts is a fundamental thing that we try to build in the first place when we yeah, when we try to involving on environmental story. So we will see the trailer of our two latest film. One is Kinipan, is 2.5 hours long duration. If you want to saw the full movie, I'm very happy to stop this lecture and let's switch to the to the channel. Okay, we will saw the trailer. You'll see the trailer, and then Pulau Plastic is produced by mainstream studio here in Indonesia, Visinema, and Watchdog is part of the collaborator, and I am the director with Rahul Nasution. So
Pulau Plastic is what is it in English? Pulau Plastic?
Plastic Island.
Plastic Island, ya.
Plastic
Island. What about Tenggelam Dalam Diam? Do we have it today?
Tenggelam Dalam Diam. I'm not preparing that, but
but
it's
okay. But you can tell about it later, of course,
yeah.
as well. Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with Kinipan. Okay. Kinipan. Oh, what happened? Sorry.
Alright, kelihatan ya, ya kan? Ini nggak apa-apa. Posisinya di Gang Prada, Desa Kinipan. Ini rumahnya Saudianus, sekarang kondisinya seperti ini.
Hasil dari nekropsi, kemudian sampel yang kita periksa di laboratorium menunjukkan adanya investasi parasit yang cukup serius yang sehingga menyebabkan kematian.
Masing-masing undang-undang tersebut akan menjadi omnibus law.
Undang-undang Cipta Kerja ini justru kalau kita lihat dia akan lebih menambah emisi yang dikeluarkan oleh Indonesia.
Perintah yang mengeluarkan izin dan pemerintah juga yang merusak.
Sama sekali Jong, nggak ada harapan lagi sudah seperti ini.
Begini saya ditarik gini, satu ngantem kayak gitu.
Memang pemerintah itu dia sayang di binatang hewan, pada sayang dari masyarakat.
Kelihatan ya, ya kan?
Sorry.
Ini nggak apa-apa.
Yeah. We released the film on March 2021, and now it's already on YouTube with English subtitle. You could access it, and at the same time we also have some public screening independently by the community across Indonesia, and more than 800 spots at that time. 800 screen independently show this film on campus, on school, in their neighborhood, in even in church, in mosque. So basically, in public space, they could run this film and ask the the access of the link to us, and then we give them the link, and then they could download and show publicly. So this is one of our distribution method that I will share more later. Now, basically, it's very ambitious topic. Create a link between pandemic, deforestation, and international restoration program. So that's why the duration is more than 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So it's the longest film that we ever produced. Okay, the next trailer is Plastic Island. Unfortunately, it's not have the English subtitle yet, but since the picture is universal language, I think we don't have big problem with that.
Yeah,
so.
Picture talks more than 1,000 languages, yeah, they say. Then motion picture, a million words.
Yeah.
300 juta ton.
Wait. Okay.
300 juta ton plastik hanya dipakai selama rata-rata 15 menit, lalu dibuang.
Penduduk di desa Bangun ini mencari nafkah dari sampah. Nah, mereka jemur, yang mereka jual pabrik tahu, pabrik kerupuk untuk bahan bakar.
Masyarakat ini tidak tahu bahwa membakar plastik itu akan menghasilkan racun.
Fenomena sampah kiriman yang terjadi hampir setiap tahun ini mencapai 25 ton per hari. Setelah Pantai Kuta diserbu sampah kiriman, kini giliran Pantai Sanur dan pantai lain yang dipenuhi sampah. Oh man, freaking strong.
Apa mikroplastik di Banten ini menunjukkan kalau ada kontaminasi mikroplastik.
Berarti yang pink ini kemungkinan ada di saluran pencernaan juga.
Tumpuan koran-koran itu di dalamnya sebenarnya tercover banyak plastik.
Disebut sebagai mikroplastik adalah ketika plastik menjadi teman-teman atau sekian itu di bawah 0,5 mm.
Untuk saja kita menemukan sekitar lebih dari 50 partikel plastik. Saya bayangkan jika koran itu ada minyakan mikroplastik.
Dari semua sampah plastik sejak tahun 50-an, 9% yang berhasil didaur ulang, 12% dibakar, sisanya masih ada di bumi.
Yeah, this time this film goes to commercial cinema and becoming the 12th documentary film in commercial cinema since the independence of Indonesia. Yay! 76 years since Indonesia, we just have 12 documentary film on mainstream and commercial cinema. So congratulations.
This is the 12th, yeah? Number 12.
Yeah, this is 12.
Well done. And you talked that you went to Maksasai Award, I think yesterday, right? Is that for you?
Still embargo, this information still embargo.
Oh, sorry then. Then pretend that you don't hear me, yeah? Because Mas Dani didn't tell me about it yesterday. Okay, go on, Mas Dani. But that's good news, right? That's not a scandal or something.
Thank you. So okay, this bioplastic is just a small role that we can do among the tons of film production about plastic and the environmental crisis that caused by it. So the plastic issue is become worldwide already, and you can have many story, even conspiracy. Stop talking about plastic and said that plastic is not the main cause of disaster in the ocean, but the fishing industry. So we have many debate about the plastic and its impact, and now again why we still produce on local level, on local story. Yeah, I think I already mentioned it about proximity and about accessibility. I hope that someday this film could be accessed freely in YouTube as well, but now still on commercial platform. Thank you, Mas Tommy. Okay, I will continue my presentation with about a distribution strategy. Yeah. Why we choose the public screening in the neighborhood, when we choose the commercial platform, when we choose the mainstream media. I think we could share about that. Okay, so basically we start in 2009 with various topic at that time. Of course, we are the production house, we are the film studio, we produce many topics, but we focusing on documentary genre. We don't produce the feature film or fiction film. So we produce the many things about history, history about the cinema itself, and then we also, yeah, create some mainstream documentary on history topic on the mainstream media. We went to national TV network at the time, so it's very old-fashioned platform with new approach of content production. Of course, it's very super sensitive topic in Indonesia when we talk about the very sensitive history about communism, about Islamism, about separatism in Papua, in Aceh. So, but yeah, we very confident to do that at that time because the TV station itself have balls, sorry for the language, have courage to air this kind of documentary. So then we don't have issue on that. But now it's different story. It's the uprising of new authoritarianism. Maybe Mbak Anita could tell you more about that later. Okay, we also produce for international TV network like Bloomberg about the economy, commodity, and so on. And then we start, of course, the benefit of the commercial production we spend on the advocacy story, because this kind of topic, there is no way you can get sponsor easily. So that's why you have to have a saving to produce this kind of topic. The topic about the marginalized community, about the small farmer, about the mine workers, about the water crisis, about the, and anything that many countries need for the development, it should have another impact on social, human rights, and environment. So the term development itself, it's very problematic, and we found the other way of mirror to show to the audience how it works, how the development works. So yeah, we also goes to the cinema for the very prominent topic like presidential election at the time. But we have deal with the cinema before we have premiere on commercial cinema. I asked for grand premiere in the public space. So 3,000 people at that time attend the very first grand premiere on the film. So I'm very happy because it's one of our experience on how you connect with audience out of the cinema building. Of course, at the time we already have a YouTube, but I think it's not quite familiar for long duration film. YouTube at that time is more than music and fun content channel. You know, even we don't have 2 hours podcast at a time. We don't have yet, but now we have, of course, for long duration film. So we are not consider YouTube as a main streaming platform at that time. So we try to go to the smaller community for public screening. With Belakang Hotel is one of our first experience on how the local issue of water crisis in Jogja. Yogyakarta is a culture city in Indonesia, but they have, as a tourist destination as well. Of course, as tourist destination and the growing of the tourist industry, many hotels, apartment, and property were built, and then they have to compete with the locals for the access of the water, for the clean water. So many hotels have a big swimming pool, but their neighbor have no access of water. Their well, the traditional well, suddenly dry. So you could swim in hotel, you could have hot water on the shower, but just about 3 or 4 meters from the hotel, the resident house has no access of water. That story in Jogja 2014, then we capture it in very low budget film production, and very short term, just 1 week. We produced just 1 week, shooting, interviewing, go to the field, and then we edited about 2 weeks. Then just 1 month after we talk about this topic, we have a film. So that's very low budget and fast film. Not only fast food, we have fast film as well.
So I need to make it clear again. So 2014 is the first time you initiate Nobar, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, initiate Nobar intentionally and methodically.
Okay.
Because in 2015 as well, we have a grand premiere, but not in systematic way.
Okay. So for our international friends, Nobar means watching the movie together.
Public screening.
Offline, yeah. Offline, yeah.
Yeah. So people in small neighborhood and small community watching the film independently, they organize their own open air cinema in the apa sih Skambling gitu ya. Ini khas negara Orde Baru punya
Skambling is a spot, yeah, in the middle of the village.
Neighborhood watch.
Neighborhood watch, yeah, but it doesn't explain, of course, yeah, for the international audience. So there's a place or a kind of spot usually in the middle of the kampung or a village where the residents stay there, not stay there. What's over, yeah, the surrounding, the neighborhood, to make it safe, yeah, to make sure safe. But yeah, of course, we can explain there's a political aspect of it and so on and so on. But come back to Mas Dandi.
Yeah, so at the time it widespread watching movie movement until the king of Jogja, the Sultan of Jogja, very curious what happened with our people. Maybe he afraid there is uprising at that time, like Puyi or like Tsar in Russia. So he suddenly asking for public screening as well in their palace, and he and the royal family also watched the film, and then media coverage. So yeah. Then besides distribution, we also realized that environment is very classic issue on film, on documentary, many productions. So we need to put some topping, put some gimmick on, or make some refreshment method on how the environmental issue on the film could grab new audience. to give, yeah, like fresh air for the audience. So that's why we create a gimmick on 2015. I and my partner, photographer from Sumatra, we went go around Indonesia with motorcycle for 1 year nonstop to make again small budget and fast film production. And then we bring home about 12 terabyte. It's containing 80,000 photo frames, I think. And those 12 terabyte video or footage have we proceed to about 55 episode or 55 series and 12 films. So just two of us, we produce about 12 films and 55 YouTube series. And from 12 films we produce, more than 6, I think now, or 7, have more than 1 million views now, including Sexy Killers, I think now 36 million views, I think. Well, all of the title here now, it's publicly accessed on YouTube. You could just type the keyword and you find the film. So yeah, this is the Samin Semen that Dr. Wija talked about before, and we have public screening in a very small village in Grobogan, Central Java, who has the same problem with cement industry. And we also have public screening in Göttingen, Germany, because most of the retirement pension, pemilik dana pensiun juga concern dengan saham yang mereka tanamkan di perusahaan. Gimana Mas Wija? Tolong Mas Wija merangkap sebagai penerjemah juga.
So I think they are the shareholders, yeah, of the factory, right?
Tapi dana pensiun ya, secara tidak langsung.
But they got the money to buy the stocks using their pension money, right? And they care about the movie. So Göttingen and Grobogan is just the same, right? Starting with viewers, but extremely different place. Okay.
So we start with some women gathering, ibu-ibu pengajian, apa Mbak Anita bahasa Inggrisnya ibu pengajian?
Like a Quranic reciting group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And until the proper theater in somewhere in Hamburg. So yeah, that's how we reach our audience, local and international, through one film with same topic that gather them in the same common interest or common issue. Even our friends in Germany came from many groups, create their own solidarity event in front of the shareholder meeting in Heidelberg on 2017. So just 2 years after our expedition and just 2 years after the film release. So you can imagine we need 2 years for snowball effect work in this context. Yeah.
But many initiative doesn't have snowball effect like you, right? So 2 years is what's that I guess.
Okay, so we have mainstream media coverage in Germany at that time. Der Spiegel, I think, the most respective magazine in Germany with 4 million readers and 700,000 subscribers. Still on printing media, but it still have a big influence in Germany.
And who is this woman? Mas Dandi, perhaps you can.
Oh, okay, the woman is Mbak Gunarti. She's one of the actor in the film, the local traditional women leader, the indigenous people on the ground zero when the cement industry established their factory. So she's one of the justice warrior to kick out the cement investor. So basically, she's a farmer. Then we have urban issue, not
And the picture was taken in Germany, yeah? Mbak Gunarti flight to Germany.
Yeah, right? Even the CEO of Heidelberg Cement meet her, and said that we will evaluate our business plan or investment plan on Indonesia, because I know.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's sincere or part of the public relations strategy, I don't know. But in fact, there is no cement factory built on her neighborhood now, until now. So
okay, so it's it really had an impact, I guess.
Yeah. I hope so. But it also because the pandemic, so many business plan ruined. Okay, so we have urban issue, not only the remote area in terms of environmental crisis, but we also environmental crisis on urban. So we have many reclamation projects in Indonesia. So Watchdog tried to capture some of them, and then we have Fake Islands film on 2016, and since we have success story on from distribution method with public screening in the community, so we just replicate our success story with this film. So the first place that we have public screening is the coastal area that the film production took place. So at that time it's very a historical moment for me as filmmaker, because farmers and their family going out together, and they have gathering in the public space and have big screen, and they shout loudly when the hero from their own local neighbor appears in the film, and they they express the hate, their haters when the government official appear in the film. So I think it's very interactive film expression that you cannot find in YouTube. So even in some area who has no coastal line, for example, in Sumatra, they still interest on the film, even it's not their own issue. And academically, this film is part of the discussion in many campus. So basically, it's just repetition method from Watchdog to distribute film offline, because in online you have many competitors, many distraction, but you can start offline to create a public conversation about the film, to create the curiosity of the public who has no access on offline, maybe. So it's just like precondition that you can create before you release your film online. So we also involve non-Watchdog filmmaker for some production. We collaborate with students, with many campus to produce many films. This film is about the forced eviction in Jakarta. Many slum area was forced to remove. Many of them is part of the World Bank program for what they call, I forget the term, Kotaku, my city. The idea is how you make beautiful city like in advertisement, so there is no slum area, but they just remove the slum area. They don't remove the poverty. They don't have program on poverty. They just have program on infrastructure to remove the slum area. So basically, this is not good development. So still we try to create a bridge between the local and the community who we film, and with the policy making process, with the academic community. So yeah, when we have when we can reach these two kind of audience, so we consider that our film is for everyone, for general audience. But yeah, if you make film that some of those very educated person could rely on your premise, then means you fail to create a good movie. So this is about the palm oil, and for the first time there is a mall in Kalimantan. It's a mall, the place that people usually go to for shopping, but at the time they stop shopping and stand or sit a while to watch the documentary film on a mall. So I think why? Because they have proximity. Because this city Ketapang in West Kalimantan is one of the most affected area when the fire comes, when the haze, when there is a fire on the bush, on the forest. So they can feel the proximity with that issue. So that's what I'm talking about when you have a great picture, very glossy and high-end production on melting glacier in Arctic, but if you don't have proximity with the audience, it's just a beautiful footage. It's not drive anything for the audience. So we have discussion in many countries, abroad and in local. For asymmetric, even here's one example in Lumajang, is one of a small city in East Java, and most of the student, I think 100% of the student never see the palm oil tree. So, but still they have a screening on their class. Ini pesantren, traditional school, traditional boarding school for Islamic study ya, Mbak Anita. Okay, so some of community in urban area booking the commercial cinema, and some of them create their own cinema open air in their home yard. So this I like these two pictures. Yeah. Of course, because Europe is one of the importer of biofuel, then this issue also resonate in Europe audience. Yeah, I think this University of Göttingen. Yeah, I forgot the location. Sorry, I don't have caption. And I thought, okay, so when the Rainbow Warriors, the very prominent shape of Greenpeace, came to Indonesia, they have also screened this film. I think it's honor for us, because at that time the Rainbow Warrior came here for campaigning clean energy, and their spotlight is on coal mining industry, but even for palm oil story, they still buy it. They buy it, and they have very special screening on the harbor. Okay, so this film also acquisited by Al Jazeera. Sorry guys for my pure English. So yeah, then we have amplification of our message. Then Sexy Killers, of course, this is another story. We released this film during the presidential election, and many people didn't happy about that, but we are very happy because this is the right time. You can interrupt the political event with the environmental issue that never mentioned on any debate of political position. So I'm proud. I'm very happy that many people are angry about this, because it just ruined your campaign agendas for both of candidates at that time. So, and yeah, it's in Bandung, I think. Yeah, in Bandung. So it's, you know, it's kind of image that you never found in commercial cinema or mainstream platform, that people make discussion after the watching. If you went to commercial cinema and after the credit title, you just exit the cinema and then, you know, doing something else. But this time you stay in the same place and you start a conversation about the film that you just saw. So I think it's a big difference between running in a community distribution base and mainstream commercial cinema platform. This is the Siskamling. Yeah. This is what we talk about, the neighborhood watch post. Yeah, this is the visual. So people even print their own big banner that we never endorse or we never asked to do that. So basically, they create their own local festival for screening this film. So the budget is zero, of course, because we don't have any budget to subsidize any public screening event. You can block your alley and you know, maybe start some conflict with your neighbor because the street is closed for the film screening. And
Danny, were you there during the screening, or you got a picture from someone?
We have a picture from someone that posts in their own social media, because it's it's part of requirement when they ask the link of the film. We ask.
Okay. So you were not there, yeah?
No, of course.
Right.
More than 800 spot.
That's right. Yeah, that's why I asked you.
Okay. So when we saw that the trend is decreasing, the public screening enthusiasts decreasing, then it's sign for us that we have to go to online. Again, we create an event that could amplify the campaign of the film itself by asking the local fishermen on the film to make it online. So basically, two of these fishermen who make the Sexy Killers go international, and now watched by 36 million views on YouTube. So it's part of gimmick for film distribution and promotion. Yeah, in 13 days at that time we reached 20 million views. Yeah. So 435 spots in a week, in 8 days, with zero budget for distribution, because we use the energy of the people, the energy of the community. So international media then talking about this, and yeah, even the royal family and the big boss of an industry, the energy industry mogul in Indonesia. So this is one of the former vice president candidate who, you know, objection about the timing of the film release. So why you release this film this time? And we said, we don't care. We don't any business with presidential election. So some media also reporting about the decreasing of the stock on coal industry and the energy industry itself, and this the former vice president candidate company. So we are talking about energy oligarchy in Indonesia, who now is the ruling class in our government. And in some place, the government official asked the public to dismiss this film. dibubarkan paksa itu ya. They force the audience to dismiss, to stop this film in some places, but many places not. So, okay, it's very messy. sorry. But at least I want to show how we works in terms of perspective. Before we create influence and impact, and we choose the medium, and then we match it with the message, because environment story is always have a strong footage, strong visual. It's very different with corruption story, for example. No matter how big, how much money you have on the corruption issue, you don't have the visual on that. So the corruption is very poor in terms of visual, but environment is very strong in terms of visual. Yeah? Just like human rights violation, or a crime against humanity, or conflict, or kind of that. So we do match, try to find the best formula to bridge between the message, content, and the medium, and then the distribution method. So it has to in one solid line that you can have a maximum impact or maximum result. Why you do that? Yeah. So when we come to start to thinking about creating the film, when the mainstream media didn't cover the story, or mainstream media covered the story, but they choose different perspectives. So we have our own perspective. Then, okay, the story is already in the media, but I think our perspective is not be representative yet in the film or in the coverage. So we decided to create our own film. And yeah, I think this I already talked about. Shorten. Okay, we also try to have connection between film and the reality that we capture in the film. So, for example, for the Bajo, it's about sea gypsy in Indonesia, as well as in Malaysia and Philippines. Also, we share the same coral triangle. So when we have a Bajo film, we try to create a new method then that the audience could donate, but the donation is not for the film. The donation goes to the people on the film, for the children, for buy a new machine for the fishermen of Bajo that we filming. And then yeah, so it's all covered by donation from the audience. So the audience and the film star have direct connection through the donation movement. So we will try to add the film then. It's just our first thing that we try to do, and if and I think we quite success on that, and we try to replicate the same method in next film. So basically, in Watchdog, we said that it's not a movie, it's a movement. Thank you.
Yeah. Very much, yeah, Mas Dandi. I see a lot of questions there, but I will not go directly to the question and answer. I also want to provoke more this forum, yeah. So we have perhaps more live discussion, and also more to get the issue even deeper, yeah. I just want to share this slide. Why is it important in terms of Indonesia, and perhaps our friends from other country can also learn about the mystic that we have done. So early this year, we got this news, yeah, in Pikiran Rakyat, in one of the Indonesian media about only it was only 24 January, right? But we already have 197 disasters in Indonesia. So in less than 1 month. And then you know, this kind of picture in that month, it was in South Kalimantan. LP3S had a discussion about it, a seminar, and this is the deforestation in Indonesia. According to Greenpeace, you could see how fast, and the decrease of the forest from 1950 to 2020. So the green one is the forest, and but you know, the Indonesian minister said that the flood was not because of the you know, deforestation, but it was because of the rain. Even though the ministry themselves you know, admitted that 72.8% of our forest was gone only from 1990 to 2019. While you know, when I was in elementary school, I don't know what about you, from the younger generation, we were taught in school, if you cut the forest and you don't have any more trees, then you will have a flood, right? That what it was. I was taught like that when I was in elementary school. So we were wondering with palm oil plantation, with coal mining in Borneo, for instance. Is the government not realizing about it? Why they let our forest gone? And there were many studies actually about, you know, the relation between corruption and also the environmental problems. What Baron Scott, who will talk tomorrow, he discussed in LP3S book about land grabbing, and the corruption and the coalition between the elites and the entrepreneur in Kalimantan, for instance. And this is and disaster actually very close, very close to us. You know, this is the situation in Semarang, in Kota Lama. This is the heritage, Dutch heritage in one of the spot in Semarang, and it was flooded too in January this year. However, you know, despite that the environmental destruction, this kind of view, we have it so close, so near to us. However, at the same time, it seems to me that the government awareness about it is so low, and also the public actually. If we refer to the survey from LSE, from one of the surveying institution in Indonesia, the public most concerned about corruption, and then labor, what is it? Lapangan kerja. I'm the one who forget now. Employment, employment issue and growth, economic growth, but less concerned about environmental destruction and democratic regulation, and even less to the climate change. So this is actually a concern. And in this regard, what Mas Dandi does or have done so far is very important. He has he mentioned about 36 million viewers, so it's so huge, I think. And you know, whether public believe that the government can do something to avoid it, to avoid the environmental destruction, almost 70%, agree that the government is trying to do the balance between the economic growth and environmental problems. So the trust of the government is quite high, actually. That's an irony. While actually we face environmental problem every day, so it's so near, it's around us, and it's so close to us. I was often wondering why. What's the reason of it? And Mas Dandi, I think you have dedicated how many years so far? Since 2014, or before, perhaps? Watchdog was founded in
2009.
2009. So it's already 12 years, 12 years. And how many movies in total that you have produced? You forgot it.
We cannot count anymore.
Okay, yeah. I think that's a tremendous effort, and I think, that's it's really something. Okay, it was a lot of interesting things, that Mas Dani have mentioned. I will not wrap up. I think I will go directly to the questions. A lot of questions there, but I will start from the first. First question comes from Mas Tommy, I think. He asked about Mas Tommy. Would you like to read your question yourself?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, we hear you. Hello. Now you're mute, Mas Tommy. You're muted.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mas Dani, for the presentation. He said it has been so long not to meet you. Good to see you again.
Thank you,
two questions for you. First is that in the coming from commercial background myself, I appreciate the presence of idealistic independent filmmaker as you, because it is not something that gives create big revenue for yourself, but still you have been in the industry for probably more than a decade, more than 10 years until now, and still very active to produce various themes. My question for you is, in the old your movies are not considered as mainstream or popular on the traditional platform. So I understand that you use internet very extensively to distribute your content. Yeah, but do you think this is still the best way for you and for other independent movie makers to distribute the content and convey the message? Or you still have challenges, even on the internet platform, to reach out the majority of the audience? So your message could educate them and in a way shaping the public opinion. If that's so, what do you do to overcome the challenges? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's basically about the influence, yeah. Right. I think that's also my questions to Mas Dani during our interview in 2019. Yeah, how influential is the impact of the movie? Then I think Mas Dani said, I think it's your work as a scholar, yeah, to measure it. But I think, perhaps let's discuss it. Mas Dani, screen is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mas Tommy. First, I think we always start with the very specific audience that the film could impact optimally. So, for example, when I talk about Samin versus Semen during the expedition of Indonesia Biru in 2015, at the time I have a shooting schedule on January and February, and then the end of February I have to edit that film because I need the film published as soon as possible on early March. In order to, help the farmer to have a better consolidation, better campaigning tools, and the film could help them amplify their voice in local way. Because if the film could, remember when a year before we have Belakang Hotel in Jogja, then I imagine exactly the same method could work in the Kendeng Mountain, in the farmer neighborhood, that they distribute this small film from village to village, from kampung to kampung, to consolidate the farmer by seeing another farmer, how they struggle against the cement industry. So creating that social wave, it's more my concern than reaching the million audience at the context of cement versus cement film, for example. The same story with Kala Benoa in Bali, for example, the film about anti-reclamation project in Bali, that I just imagine that this film could go from Banjar to Banjar, from small village to small village, to consolidate the social solidarity against the investor. That's the goal. So that's why the platform is not the primarily concern, or the reach of audience is not the primary concern for many kind of film and the mission. So the film is defined by the mission first, then we choose the platform, then we choose then we set the target. So but it's different story with Sexy Killers, for example. On the first time, we intentionally to make some noise in the national level, and that's why we have to create a big wave, talking with the huge audience, and instantly has to skyrocketing views on YouTube. So that's a two different things. We expect the same thing with Kini Pan, for example, that the brother-in-law of Mas Tommy is a movie star in the film. So Kini Pan and Endgame, we do need a big amplification and try to reach out as much as audience, and I think we did. But for some film, we don't need the crowd, general crowd. I mean, but very specific crowd that could, not only watch the film but can mobilize them. Sorry for using this very agitative term, Dr. Wija, in this academic forum.
No, it's not.
So the film has to mobilize the social movement in the field. For example, I think I just read a question that how the film impact in the field. So yes, maybe this answer could also respond that question. So for example, in North Halmahera, in the eastern part of Indonesian island, before the social actor, the local social actor asked another people to against the palm oil plantation, in the night, they just screen the asymmetries film, and then they have this. They said that it's very saving time to talking about the important why we should reject the palm oil plantation project, because in Kalimantan like this, in Sumatra like this, now they will come to Maluku. So the film, the 1.5 film, just a shortcut, very long conversation and social debate in the neighborhood. So the shortcut method is very efficient. Then just tomorrow morning they start to have rally.
Yeah.
They start with film and then they try to make some another movement method. So back to your question, Mas Tommy. Yes, internet is very useful, and we have a very accessible method now to to compete with big giant media mainstream industry. So it's like someone in Africa maybe have a same chance in terms of using internet with media mogul and Murdoch, for example. So we have the same chance now, but of course structurally it's not goes like that way. Many structural aspects works in order to amplify your film, create the big wave or the snowball effect of your film and your campaign. But it's still in the same platform we have same start point in using internet. It's different. It's big different thing if you talk about free-to-air canal or free-to-air platform or national TV network or paid channel like National Geographic. But through internet, we have very low entry to barriers. But in the same time, of course, the low barriers to entry, it means you have many distractions on that. So that's why we have to think about the production aspect, the quality, the clarity, the promotion, the campaign that we could standing out among the other content in the internet.
Okay, very interesting, Mas Dandi. There's a comment from Unggul Sagina. Yeah, Watchdog awarded special prize winner of the 2021 Gwangju Prize for Human Rights here in Gwangju, South Korea. As one of May 18 Foundation student scholars, I am more than happy to hear the news. Unggul Sagina, so you live in Korea, South Korea right now?
Yes.
You want to say something? You want to comment directly to Mas Dandi?
Thank you, Mas Unggul.
Yeah, I just hear the news from the foundation, and I'm glad. And also, it is a challenge to give more to the society, I think, because me also, as one of the scholars, I just come here a year ago and now starting my thesis this year. So I think one of this award also made me like encourage me to do better also, because there's this is like a small step for us to do much more, to do something to our society. I think this hearing the news is encouraging me to do better also, because this foundation supported us in doing much more to the society. I think yes, I just want to say that too. And thank you for your efforts. And yeah.
But Mas Unggul, can we see your face, because tak kenal maka tak sayang, ya?
Yeah, I'm in a dormitory right now in Gwangju in Chonam National University.
Nice.
Yeah.
You, right? So you're doing PhD or master or something?
A master in civil society studies.
Civil society studies. Nice. Okay, I think
Coming in the right place, very right place in Gwangju.
Yes, the right place. I think we should give applause, to Mas Dandi for the award. I just know about it, because I think Mas Dandi got a lot of reward, or his Facebook always crowded, so sometimes I don't know which news is, but now we have a chance to have him here with us. Some friends asked about the link for the YouTube, but the other already answered for you, Mas Dandi, and I think there's a comment from Mas Taufan. Mas Taufan, you want to say something? Yeah, even though it's kind of a joke, but it can be serious too, right? Taufan Malaka, are you here?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vijay. First of all, I'm sorry because I cannot turn on my camera. I have problem with the signal. So, I think I watch some documentary movie produced by Dandi Laksono, and then I also very often to recommend my students to watch documentary movie that Dandi Laksono produced, because it is important to be very critical to understand the political economy of the media in Indonesia, and also related to the politics today. So and then I'm surprised. Actually, I just knew that Dandi Laksono just really produce so many documentary movie as you show us in this slide presentation. So, but I just know some, and then of course I watch some of them like Endgame and Kinivan, okay, and then Sexy Killers. Of course, I watched those movie. So and also actually I really follow the issue when you often a couple years ago you travel around Indonesia by riding bicycle. Actually, I like some issue, the main issue. Can you tell us what is your really main message to the public? So you travel around Indonesia and then you go by bicycle, a motorcycle. What is really your main message? And then how did you go around by riding motorcycle? So it's my question, Mr. Vijay. Thank you very much for your for this time. Okay, you give me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think I will add to Mas Taufan as well. If Mas Taufan suggests his students to watch Mas Dandi's movie, yeah, I don't suggest them. I oblige them, yeah. I instruct them to watch his movie because as Mas Dandi also said, yeah, it's more efficient, right, to tell the public about the danger of something. I can talk about the theory of democracy, blah blah blah, right? But people don't get it. So I think picture talks louder, yeah. But I think the question from Mas Taufan is also interesting. I read the biography of Che Guevara when he traveled around his country, perhaps. So I will add to Mas Taufan question: are you inspired by that diary? But in your presentation you said that it was just a gimmick, but perhaps you have something, yeah, something else. Okay, now the screen is yours, Mas Dandi.
Yeah, in terms of film distribution and campaigning, I think the expedition itself is gimmick, but in terms of production, it's a method way. Then you have a very low budget production process because motorcycle is very cheap and low emission, and you can stop and go anywhere. More mobile, the penetration is much better to the remote and rural area. So it's both gimmick and production method or production tools, and the rest is very personal. Of course, the reason why I choose a motorcycle, because it's more, you have more opportunity to engage with people, hearing the original sound of the location you came. It's very different if you use a car. It's very isolated cabin. Maybe you spend your time during the travel by sleeping. In motorcycle, is no way you cannot you can sleep. Or you have to awake every time during the trip. So yes, it's mixed for many reasons. But the main message, I think, it's a challenge for Watchdog and me myself. Could we produce a film with a very low budget and very casual, because it has to reflect that the society, the public, the citizen could do the same. The film has no way. It's only exclusively doing by someone who has better access for capital. The film, it has to be high-end production with the high-end equipment that the rest of the people could not affordable for that. So we challenge ourselves using the very low-end prosumer gadget, like action cam that many vloggers have, DSLR cam that many photographers have, or even using the camera from smartphone that everyone have already know. So we try to, could we do the same production and campaign method thing with the big giant mainstream media? If we don't try that, so I think we still live in a big bubble or maybe big prison that we still believe that a big film or influential film should come from the high-end production, should come from big money. So
should be expensive, yeah.
That's right. That's right. So it makes the knowledge become very exclusive.
Yeah.
The discourse is could be manipulated by some or very little circle who claim that I am filmmaker. Now everybody is filmmaker. Using your smartphone, you can create message by visually. That visual is more powerful than statement or than premise. So I think we challenge ourselves. It's more inward looking rather than outward looking. If Mas Taufan asked the main reason of the expedition, so it's more for our challenge that yeah. Then we try to, okay, with very low budget production, what we could do, what we get, then yeah, fortunately we have a timing, the good timing, we have a good moment, we have a loyal audience, we have a track record. Then from the very low budget, we come with 12 films that 6 among them got more than 1 million views, and 1 of them got the national and international resonance. So yeah, then we try, could we replicate the same method again? No. Because it's suicide mission. I'm afraid but still we hope that someone else can do that, can do the same. We send the energy that someone maybe could replicate the method. So at least the message, yeah, at least we can send the message that you could do this. Yeah?
Nice.
It's not impossible mission.
Yeah, but anyway, did you really manage to travel the country? I mean, how many islands in total that you have visited? Perhaps you counted or not?
No, of course. Indonesia have 17,000 islands, right? So we just go through the big ones, the big islands. It's not like Ekspedisi Zamrud Katulistiwa in 2009 when two journalists Farid Gaban and Ahmad Yunus using motorbike as well, and they choose the road through the small islands. So I think at that time they reach about 80 islands. So I think it's the best way to go Indonesia by motorcycle. But in my expedition, there's no way you could go far in terms of reach out the island. So I think
yeah, okay.
But our journey at that time, we have 19,800 kilometers.
Very nice. Okay, that's quite a lot. You know, perhaps from friends from abroad, perhaps you know Indonesia, but of course you have no idea how big it is, yeah. Because I'm Indonesian, and I also have no idea how big it is, yeah. Because I've never traveled to Papua myself, for instance, yeah. I've talked about it a lot. Maybe one day I want to go there. A lot of places that I don't know. I'm more familiar with the Netherlands, for instance, even though I only spent 6 years there, yeah, just to give you a glimpse of view. Okay, let's go on. There's a question from Mbak Anita Wahid. Perhaps you want to ask it directly.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Wija. Mas Dandi, thank you so much for your sharing. It's very inspiring. I think my first question is about, have you ever received backlash? I think part of it you've already mentioned in your presentation, and your response to it is just, we don't care. But also there are moments when I think some of our friends here didn't know that when it was time for the release of Endgame, I think one of your Instagram account was hijacked. And my question is, have you ever received anything that is more violent than that, physical or mental, or any threats like that? And if yes, how do you deal with it? And the second question is, well, it's more related to this project that I'm designing. I'm thinking of next year. I'm going to produce a documentary series on the impact of the use of hoax, of disinformation as a weapon of political contestation in last election in 2019. Where the reason of creating this documentary series is to actually get people to really understand how they were being manipulated to this propaganda game, and what's the impact because of that, such as the polarization, the dichotomic thinking, all the stuffs that are being impacted by it. And my question will be on how do you think I should consider on optimizing the impact of that movie? And related to that as well, is it something that Watchdog would be interested in collaborating with? Ya, sekalian aja gua todong. So thank you, Mas Dandi.
I think that would be a coaching session, yeah. Perhaps Mas Dandi, perhaps you can do just like Asia Summer Course and LBSA Demokrasi, then perhaps you can do sekolah film, ya, sekolah dokumenter, perhaps. Okay, but good luck with your project, Mbak Anita. I hope Mas Dandi give a good answer, yeah. So I help you to convince him.
It's very interesting that Mbak Anita plan on do that film. We try to research that topic, but of course, Mbak Anita, I think can do much better since she part of this issue. I think in the last 5 years. No, it's more than that. I think it's since 2014. I think. So yeah, the first question is about the physical threat, psychological threat, digital threat, any threat. Yeah, I think we have that in the past. I think you know, sometimes we try to not talking about that kind of threat because it's like you know, it's like as an acknowledgement to the terror, and it could affect to another listener. Then you know they feel demotivated, but of course in this kind of forum I don't mind to share. So the sabotage on the motorcycle, and they lose any, you know, mur itu apa ya, mur?
Yeah, you know,
nuts and bolts. Yeah, nuts and bolts.
Yeah. So,
okay.
They expect that I got accident, then it's natural accident. It's nothing to do with you know, maybe killing scenario.
When did it happen, Mas Dandi? When you were traveling around the country, or another event?
Before that, while we're doing the investigation of Munir murder. Munir is one of prominent human rights defender who was killed in 2004 in the plane. So we have investigative story and documentary about that. So at that time,
what's the title of the documentary?
Kiri Hijau Kanan Merah.
Oh, I've never heard that. Yeah, I want to watch it.
It's one of our first film in Watchdog. So I think it's kind of a threat, official from official. I think when we have when I have covered story and war in Aceh, I think it's very common and often. Yeah. So how I deal with that? By sending the message that we are not afraid. I think it's the first impression that you know, it's like a bluffing game. They try to measure you, whether you have balls or whether you have, you know, whether you persistent or not. So if we persistent, I think it's very something. And the second thing is keeping you independent, because you know they will stop when they find you work independently. You have no dirty motive. You have no motive for pemerasan, extortion, for example. You have no motive for instance, to campaigning their competitors, for example. So being independent is very good mitigation method in my experience. Yeah, so that's why I think we still have many confidence to produce any topic of the film, to say something about anyone, any party, any political faction, any official. So that's why, yeah, I think, and one of the indicator is, I think, the international acknowledgement, because like Guangzhou or maybe Ramon Magsaysay in coming days, they will publish their awardee. So I think they have a very prudent investigation on who they choose as awardee. So I think it's just one indicator. Of course, you cannot self-proclaim that you're independent, right? But some respectful institution or figure will endorse you, and at the time you could use this as you know, self-reflection, in the same time to reminding you that you have to keep independent. And the second is, it's part of you give a confidence to the public that what you saw in the film is basically is just for public interest, nothing else. The second thing is, of course, Mbak Anita, we are more than happy to have collaborative work with your team, and I think we believe that you have a very strong data, very strong evidence that basically we just operate our camera and then pop up, the film is finished. because the hardest part of documentary making is about the research. So working with Mbak Anita and team, I think it solved 90% of the problem.
Yeah. Okay, everyone, you become the witness of this very historical moment. A deal is made here. Okay, thank you, Mbak Anita. Yeah, you could also contact us if you need more data. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the answer. You have any more to say, Mbak Anita?
No, I just want to say thank you. That's all.
Okay.
I got what I want.
You get your one, yeah. So that's it. Yeah, but perhaps I would like to add something. Yeah. So we were doing research as well about 20 dozens of academics who got terror. Yeah, cyber terror. They were hijacked during the petition against the revision of the KPK law, right? And one of the suggestions that we found after doing the research was that you know, whoever those who terror you, they will be more careful if you are a famous person, and if you have a lot of networks. I think Mas Dandi has a lot of networks and he's famous, right? So that's true, yeah. So when something,
Munir also believed that, and Munir died.
That's right. I say, you know, I said that it's more difficult, right? So it's not guaranteed. So don't take it. You have to take it with precaution, with disclaimer. It's more difficult. So what important is that we have to build networks, and one of the reasons of this school is to build network, not just in Indonesia but also across countries, because together we'll be stronger. That would be the message. Okay. Now I will go to S2 Putri Wilujeng. You want to ask it directly, your questions, and we have Oh man, it's already 50 minutes to the end, yeah. But you know, we can extend a little bit, right, Mas Dandi? Okay. As to Wilujeng, do you want to ask your question directly? But I think it's after watching the movie, what they did, yeah. I think Mas Dandi already answered about it, right? Well, you can go back there again in your answer, but I will read as well the question from other participants. It's from Pradipa. Okay, Mas Dandi, this is from Pradipa. Do you want to ask it yourself, Pradipa?
Okay, thank you, Mas Wija, and thank you, Mas Dandi. I apologize that I cannot turn on my video because I just returned from vaccine shot. So I might have missed your point in the presentation, but what do you think, Mas Dandi, about the possibility of collaborative filmmaking with the subjects of your films? I mean by involving the people portrayed in the films beyond distribution and screening. Have you done it in the past, or do you plan to do so in the future? And what would be the challenge or opportunities? Thank you, Mas Dandi.
Yeah. Yes, we have it during the uprising in 2019. I think the Mosi Tidak Percaya. It's a social movement against the government's policy on creating a new law of anti-corruption commission at that time. So we have collaboration with many activists, campus and activist group that they can film their own demonstration, their own action. They can record every meeting that public should know, and then they could send us the material, and then we compile together with I think another 16 or 17 spot in Indonesia. So just in 2 days, we have already a film about the uprising in 2019. So the collaborative thing is, you know, I think it's already we tried to do that. And then, for example, for another example is in film Kinipan. It's a very remote area in central Kalimantan that we cannot go there oftenly. It's very expensive, and we cannot put our crew for a long time as well. So our strategy is left our camera behind and ask one of the villagers to operate the camera. So if they have any event or moment that they think the public should know, they could record directly or by themselves, and then we collect the footage. So it's part of the strategy, not only about the involvement, about the, you know, the psychology aspect of the citizen, of the you know, villagers. Maybe they're more enjoyable, or they're more comfort with the local filmmaker or their neighbor handling the camera instead of someone from Jakarta with a big body like me handling the camera. So I think it's part of many advantages we could have from that such of collaboration. So I hope I answer your question, Pradipa.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Dandi. It answers very sufficiently.
Thank you.
Okay, there will be another question. Yeah, could you elaborate a little bit on the recent film you made about the fire or the activation of KPK Commission staff? I think in this film clearly portrayed how the authoritarian and corrupt regime works to eliminate the spirit to eradicate corruption. Fire, is it? Do you have it, Mas Dandi? Is it the end game or another?
I think Mas Benny is talking about the end game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wanna say something about it?
Yeah. Thank you. It's another fast film we made. Just about 3 weeks, interviewing about 16 investigators of Anti-Corruption Commission, and yeah, I think we can. It's kind of game changers film because before the film release we have big propaganda about the Anti-Corruption Commission, and the propaganda is produced by the digital troop, and Mbak Anita will fight. So now this propaganda, I think, is no longer a work for public because this film distribution also good in Watchdog history. For the first time, we have 1,500 spots in a month for public screening independently. And then now I think it's more than 3 million views in YouTube just in 2 months, I think. So yeah, in terms of coverage, public reach out, I think this film is quite successful. Thank you.
Yeah, nice. Okay, we will run for the time. Yeah. This is a question from Bruce dan Laura. Bruce, do you want to ask your question directly? Bruce, are you here?
Hello. Yeah, I guess that my question has already been answered by Mas Dandi. Yeah, because I was curious, what is the main message and what did Mas Dandi want to highlight in every movie that he produced? Because I'm currently doing this kind of how this audience receive the message from every movies or every contents from social media or from movies. And then it's good to know if Mas Dandi could, but it was already answered, by the way, if I could ask from the producer of the movie, of that documentary movies. So yeah, that's all.
Bruce,
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
wonder where you're from, because your name is quite...
I'm from Indonesia. Yeah, just yeah, just...
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to comment on it, Mas Dandi, or perhaps you're...
Yeah. Thank you, Bruce.
Okay. Yeah. And there's a question from Tri Ambarwati. Do you have do you want to ask it directly, Mbak Ambar?
Yeah, Mas Vija, thank you for the opportunity. Halo Mas Dendi, apa kabar?
Kawan lama ya, old friend ya.
Iya, kayaknya terakhir ketemu abis konser Guns N' Roses ya Mas ya?
Nah, ketahuan deh.
Yeah. I just want to ask about the difficulties that probably faced by Mas Dandi and the team, especially because the documentary that was filmed by Mas Dandi kan usually is about environmental issues. So do you have any difficulties, especially with the local authorities that probably get worried about that the things that you are doing will jeopardize their positions, something like that? Thank you, Mas Dandi.
Yeah. Thank you, Mbak Ambarwati. Of course, most of the problem is about the permit, yeah, but the access in some areas. But of course, since we are journalists, Mbak Tri Ambarwati is very prominent news anchor for national television network. So as you know, as journalists, we always taking picture first, then ask second, ask later. So we use the same method, we use the same way, you know, to grab the footage from the field and then ask the permission later. For example, when I did the Samin versus Semen, I fly my drone on 6 a.m. During the changing the safe for the security guard. So I fly my drone just to capture how the area and then how the guarded area in the public facility, and then after that I try to ask them for permission to recording, and then of course they said no, we don't have permit from local authority, from our headquarter office, blah blah blah. Then yes, sorry, I will try with my permit. I have to go. But of course we already have the footage. So working in country like Indonesia, where you have many difficulty with bureaucracy, that bureaucracy, it's fine if you know how to deal with, how where's the limit, but we live in uncertainty bureaucracy. Even you comply with some requirement, still you cannot have access sometimes, right? So dealing with this kind of bureaucracy, I think as long as you work for public interest, just for public interest, nothing more. Journalism, I think, is part of public interest. You work on behalf of public need. So I think you can violate the rules. That's always we do constantly. We always violate the rule. I don't have drone license. I still kept my analog drone, Phantom 2, that no red zone fly feature on there. So if you start to collecting Phantom 3 and 4, you have a feature that some authorities could block your frequency. But I still kept my Phantom 2 in case I have to fly without any requirement from the authority. So I think, yeah, but it's not abusing your power. Yeah, it's about using your power, your ability to gain public interest. So as long as you work for public, I think you could do that, because even in code of conduct of journalism, you could violate the code of conduct, as long as this is the only way that you can do to ensure the public interest fulfilled. So that's the statement is stated in code ethic, in journalism code of conduct. I hope I answer your question, Mbak Tri, and do not misuse my statement for any purpose beside public interest. Thank you.
No, of course not. Just for the writing.
And do not use about my license of drone.
Okay.
Not mention to public.
Off the record, right?
Yeah, off the record. And this is academic forum, even though we aim just not for academic thing. Yeah. So in this forum, we don't teach you actually. Yeah, we learn together, right? And hopefully we will not only learn about the method and theory, but also how to build a movement, yeah, across countries. We still have 2 minutes, so it's we almost end. Perhaps I will use this 2 minutes to ask Mas Dandi a question that I always wanted to ask. And perhaps we can ask ourselves, yeah, Indonesians or our fellows from other countries, why do the government awareness, or perhaps public awareness as well, about the environmental problem is so low? What do you think, Mas Dandi, about it?
Yeah, I think indirectly, I already mentioned in the previous presentation, because the environment issue is always wrapped up as a big narration. Talking about the climate change that people, could not imagine how the climate change. Talking about the emission of greenhouse gases. Talking about the sea level water rise, like Noah in Noah era, for example. So it's far and big narration for most of people. When you talk about environment, you just directly talk about the haze, the fire in the wood, the lack of clean water, the flood that they deal every year, or even every 6 months, for example. So the decreasing of the food quality, the absence of the bird that they usually saw when they're children. So I think it's a way, it's a storytelling. It's more than storytelling strategy. If you start, or if you come from the academic perspective, of course, it's very simplification in many ways, of course. But that's the role of the filmmaker as journalists. We try to become a bridge between the academic community and the common people in the street. So we hope we fulfill our role. And yes, we still have many many problems, of course, and we still very small organization to reach out the big number of population. We cannot change the world with our film, because even religion cannot do that. So do not hope too much with film to change our society or make this planet a better place to stay. But at least what we did, what all of us did, I think, have a resonance, have amplification through ourselves. Like for example, like this forum, I think I talk to you in small numbers, but I think you have your own social circle. Then maybe the idea could go across the personal boundaries or maybe state boundaries. I think we try to mainstreaming the environment in a very simple and very proximate way. Dr. Wija, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mas Dandi. I think that's a very strong answer. Yeah, and so perhaps we can be, each of us can be the messenger for this this movie, this message about the environmental problem. And I think Mas Dandi have dedicated so many years, 12 years, to produce a movie in number that he cannot remember himself. And the movie has been watched by I think perhaps 100 million people, in total. If one movie can reach more than 30 million viewers, then in total together perhaps 100 million movies. And of course, thank you, Mas Dandi, for joining us. We only 50 people here, but you come here. Applause to Mas Dandi.
Thank you. Terima kasih semuanya.
Okay. I think that will be the end of our session today. We never have photo session, yeah? You want to try that now?
Yeah, that's great.
Let's do it. Okay, Pak Gulam, would you lead us for the photo session? Yeah.
Okay, sure. Please open your camera.
Everyone,
and then write 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the next one. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is nice trick. Yeah, I learned it in Jogja actually when I was in the same forum with Mbak Anita Wahid, right? And you know, all the camera was off during the discussion session, but suddenly when in the photo session, all camera was on, and I learned. I think I have to do this in my own forum, right? So it was successful, I think. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow, me and Wat Scott will be discussing about cyber troops and online computational propaganda. So that would be, you know, don't miss it, okay? But tomorrow we'll start earlier in 1400. And Mas Dani have talked about this topic, and it appears quite often. And tomorrow we'll have a nice discussion about it. See you tomorrow, everyone, and thank you again, Mas Dandi.
Thank you, Mas Dandi.
Thank you, Mas Dandi.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Terima kasih, Mas Dandi.
Terima kasih, sampai besok.
Semuanya.